Okay, is this working? Because I just had like 3 errors in a row. Okay, it looks like it's working. Okay, well, I am gonna try and get something done. See, the good thing about publicly broadcasting my productivity onto the internet is that it means I can't really procrastinate without it being extremely, I would say, excruciatingly obvious that I'm not working. So this is public accountability. It never goes wrong in any way. So, hold on, what am I doing now? I'm doing something. I might be working on the AI for these guys, perhaps. I'll revisit what I have. It's this, okay. So it's fairly basic, but I've got a plan. Perhaps. Well, here we are anyway. Actually, I've got several things I need to do. Many things I need to do. Perhaps before I even get into the AI, I suppose that's just going to be like the very last feature that I ever add. Is the ability to pick these things up, and I would like to do it in a sensible way that seems intuitive and reasonable, because I do have the issue that the player basically already does something when they left click, which is shoot this wonderful, exciting, flashy gun of some kind. And I really would like a nice, convenient way to finish off with the player input. I mean, I'm not sure. I can have it so that you could just right click. That would work, maybe. Or press E or something like that. But again, it's not obvious. I think it would require a bit of tutorial anyway. But my concern is that the player doesn't actually do anything here, so what you gonna do? What you gonna do? That's just how it is, I guess. That's what you signed up for with this particular game. I don't know. Anyway, you can see that it works basically. It's a bit dark, it's very hard to see those particles. They don't pop, like, whatsoever. They're very dark against a black background. It's really not very ideal, to be honest. But you know, what you gonna do? The ability to pick them up would be nice. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. it's very tricky actually. Another thing is that these items are very big. I'm not sure why I have them so big. I think it's the weapon which is kind of in the way. I'm not sure if I necessarily want this game to be fully combat focused. Maybe the player will walk around. I mean, they could have selectable primary weapons, maybe, which you could select with the scroll wheel. I mean, that would work. Maybe just one of those is a weapon, but the default one is this hands thing. And that would also maybe make it a bit better, because I'm not too fond of just walking into these to destroy them. It makes it too easy to mess bits up. So maybe what I would do is I already have to have, I mean, I guess this thing is just gonna be sort of half finished for a while. But if I have some kind of weapon selection, don't even necessarily want to call it a weapon, but I guess, you know, I mean, yeah, I guess it's basically like a big magnet is the one I'm gonna add. And it'll change the cursor as well. So this cursor will only be, it'll only look like a crosshair when you have this proper shooty gun. And it'll just respond to like you know, it'll be the clicky hand when you go over these things. So it's a little bit more obvious that you can pick these things up. Then when you pick them up, you can, I don't know, put them over here. Maybe. And that's a good question. Should the walls of these be still completely solid? Maybe, again, that's another good question, is maybe if you're just within a big radius of one of these, you'll kind of get the items snapping to the position where it can be placed. I think that would be reasonable, and it wouldn't be too difficult. It would be possible. It's worth a try. But of course that means I need the magnet gun first, I think. And I also might need to remake these a little bit. I mean, they have good behavior when they're just sitting there, but when they're actually in the player's hand, they'll need to follow the player, they'll need to be sucked over here at certain points. It'll be different. Perhaps I will also make it so that these things don't even spawn 100% of the time. Maybe they just kind of show up in big waves. That might be nice. So it's a bit... no, but you still need the items though. And to be honest, these things are fairly tough, but... So it'll be a bit hectic actually, but I'll try it out, and if I need to adjust the spawning rules, I can do it. I can do it after the fact, so... Alright, we got somewhat of a plan. I guess the first thing is the weapon selector? If you can believe that. Hold on, let me just... hold on, what am I doing? Here we are. Okay. Yeah, I'll do. Right, okay. So now for the fun part, which is I actually have to do anything. Actually, why didn't I put this on Twitter? Why not? Join me in my... what would you call it? Productivity, accountability. Nah. I'll be fine. Just leave it as it is. What you gonna do? But I do need... Right, okay. So, weapon selection. How am I gonna do this? So, I could do icons, but I can't make icons. Not very good at making icons. So instead of that, perhaps I could just do little pieces of text. I might disable the enemy spawns for a second, so that I can... Okay. Just to disable this so I don't get completely overrun while I am making adjustments. Okay. So what I might try and do is have a piece of text. Let's call this one like a plasma gun. And then we also have a magnet. And I do kind of have a magnet icon, but it's not very good, so I don't know if I necessarily want to use it. Mysterious and difficult. Well, a little bit difficult. And the mystery is highly limited to what I'm doing. I kind of want the scroll wheel to toggle it. I want the Q and E keys to toggle it as well. So I'm thinking, should it be vertical or horizontal? Kind of have in my mind, you know, had in Warp Tech almost, something like this, where it's almost like a rotating barrel. Well, let me see what the actual text looks like, because I'm probably gonna be putting this as text, most likely. So I'll make another one of these. And I'll just put it kind of in the right vicinity. So let's put it here. I'll call it just weapons. Because that's basically what it's doing. And I'll put a label here. And we're gonna have two. So the one I've got equipped right now, something like this. Oops. And you better believe I'm just getting that font right quick. Okay. Now this, I kind of want it to be... Okay, hold on. Does not like when you rename nodes before launching your game, so let me just do this. So, okay, here's that, and it's kind of just a piece of text, and it's kind of just there. You know, is that great? I don't know. I don't know. Do I want any kind of background? Probably not. Although, maybe I do. Maybe I do want maybe I want one of these. Not the purple one most likely, but... Oh. Is this bigger? Or is it the same size? No, I think it's the same size. It does look 1 pixel bigger. No, nah, it's not. I'm losing it here. Okay, actually, maybe I'll put this behind. It looks a bit more like this. Okay, it still doesn't really look that good with the purple, so I might put it in one of these. Alright, it's okay. What if I put, first of all, what if I do this? I put some arrows on either side to really bring home the idea. In fact, it doesn't necessarily have to be that animated, does it? I can... Smallest it's gonna go as this. I can, if I wanted to, okay, hypothetically, I could... Why is this... This is definitely small. Oh, it's because it's shrunk, I think, because I've actually squished it so small. So if I do that, it'll look the same, but... Weird. I could have it kind of just in the center. Like this. That looks okay. I would probably reserve that space for more useful information though. I mean, it looks okay, but then... There's just something I can't... There's not enough... I'm just very aware how much space it's taken up on the screen. Which is not ideal. So maybe I can put it somewhere else. But maybe it'll only come down when you are actually selecting it. Something like that. Interesting, huh? Maybe it's the font. The font could be throwing me. The font, it looks a little bit bare, but I should get some more fonts for this game, shouldn't I? Okay. That looks okay. Bit weird, but ultimately fine. I kinda prefer it being in the corner for some reason. Not entirely sure why. Because that looks okay, I think. So it'll just come up when you're scrolling, maybe. So if you scroll, it'll kind of pop up and it'll show you which one is selected, and then it'll hide itself again. I mean, that might work. It's very economical with how much screen space there is. And that's important. Okay, maybe I'll do that then. It's an idea. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work. So now the real tricky thing is, how is my code going to support that? That's a very good question. How is my code going to support that? Well, oh my god. Yeah, okay. Well, See, this is always a tricky thing. I suppose that the player should be the one who is aware of which weapon he has selected. That would make the most sense. Okay. And then the weapon, the interface should just be, it should know what the weapons mean, but then it should just display which one is going on at a time, I think. There is, hi, hello. How are you doing on this fine morning? I think that makes sense. Let me even put that in though. I'm gonna have to do something like, because it's gonna be an index of some kind. I can make it an enum if I really feel ambitious. Or I could just make it, I mean, why don't I make it? Oh, I'm gonna do that because I just, yeah, I guess, how do I even do that? I can't even remember. Something like this. And then we're gonna have plasma, then we're gonna have those two. And then we can, I think we can just do that. Perfect, okay. Although actually, I'm gonna put it like this. Because eventually, magnet is going to be the default. Now, do I have the scroll? I have Q and E. Scroll up, scroll down. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'll just change this to say weapon. Oh, does that work? Yeah, it's lowercase, so it won't be shadowing anything. I don't need this, do I? So yeah, so when the scroll wheel happens, I guess I'll do the scroll wheel first. Is there a way to find out how many are the maximum values of, hold on, enum max size? Because yeah, how do I get the number of things in the enum? Oh, they're dictionaries? That's weird. Okay. Well, here's somebody who is iterating through an enum. Count? Oh, where you just put the last... You can put the last entry, just call it count. That seems a bit hacky. I just know how many weapons there are, so I'm just gonna make a new variable. And I'm just gonna call it, like, number of weapons, because maybe it'll change. Maybe you'll only have certain number of weapons unlocked, and you only want to go up to a certain number. Yeah, I'll just do that. So, I'll actually, yeah, I'll do weapons unlocked. And I'll just say 2, because there's 2. I think that makes sense. I'm kind of just future-proofing myself a bit here, because you never know what else I am going to want to put in here. Okay, cool. So now all I have to do is kind of link that to the input. So I want it to be done with either scroll wheel or Q and E. So I mean, I could do it the easy way, or I could just put the input in here. I'll do it with scroll wheel first, and then if I want to add it to Q and E, it'll be super simple. I'll just add a couple of them. So I'll just do scroll down. I want to do the same thing, but with scroll up. Easy peasy. Now, do I try and encapsulate this at all? I don't know what kind of math. I mean, this is just a number, so at the moment this is 1. And then it'll be 2. I think. So I can just add 1 to that. So I'll do something like, I don't know, set weapon. Something like that. And that way when I do a scroll down, I'll have something like set weapon, and it'll be weapon plus 1. And I'll do the same thing, weapon minus 1. I think that makes sense, because then I can handle all of the looping behavior in here. U when the number is 1. I mean, geez, yeah, I guess so, huh? I don't know what that means, but there must be. I mean, yeah, the number is 1. Let's see. So weapon I have here. Okay, so I am going to make an assignment, so I'm just going to do weapon equals web ID. However, there are times when the weapon is actually, it can be -1, it can be 2. I don't want either of those things. I'm gonna say if it's less than 0, I'm gonna say make it equal to weapons unlocked -1. So that's the max. It's starting again from the top. In this case, it'll be 1. And equally, if it's greater than or equal to, because we're doing some zero index stuff here, then we're just gonna set it to 0, because that's nice and simple. I think that should be all of the logic. That was super simple and easy. I liked it. I'm doing well. I'm doing quite well. I'm trying to produce accountability for myself to actually work on this, because I've just been staring at it for a while. It's kind of it's gonna be a DLC for Ultrafun. And I was thinking, well, it could be that. I might also make it into a full game with the Ortail thing. So I have all of this here. If I possibly can finish it. So actually this doesn't really show it off very well at all. But a whole bunch of things. Basically sort of 4, like, maybe 3 mini games, and then the 4th is like a winning scenario. And Ortail doesn't show up here, but you might be able to see him on this. He basically does the exact same thing he does in the free game as it is, and eats people. So now I just enabled hungry mode. Potentially Ortail will go up here, go munch on this dude when he feels like it, and also you have all these sort of stats to look at, and they'll take you into essentially mini games, you could say. No, he's not that hungry, I guess. Actually, I think this is gonna crash because I have this guy selected. So this is some good bug testing right here. Oh wow, no, my code is too powerful, too robust for this. It just takes it like an absolute champion. Okay, well that was good to check anyway. Good Osmir, yeah. He died so that Ortail could have a good, tasty luncheon. The most noble of causes, truly. Okay, so let me see. This guy doing the classic where it's just assumed actually does that. Become null, or does it become completely unset when you change the scene? Kinda think it just becomes null. So maybe I should have chosen a different name to make this more obvious that it's just for this game, but no, it'll be fine. Okay. The advantage of doing that though is that anywhere, there is that percentage syntax, scene unique name, but it never seems to work. Like if I do that now, it kinda, see, what the hell is that? No, do I have to do that? I can't remember. I never use this. Okay. Well, I guess that's good, and it seems smarter than using the tree meta, because to be honest, you could go to a different scene and you'll still have this spaceman key, and then you won't have the spaceman, it'll just come up as null, and it'll probably be fine because I'm not going to be accessing it, but you never know. Maybe I will be. But for this, I had it for the voidlings, they could even find the player. Actually, that doesn't make sense either. I'm not messing with it. I'm not changing anything right now. I'm gonna stay focused. This is why I have this accountability system, so that I actually get work done instead of changing stuff all the time. Anyway, so we have this text, and I am gonna create a what would you call it? A dictionary. With the names. So the names are all basically going to be the same. We're going to have magnet, I suppose. And then we're going to have why I'm putting this punctuation on the sides. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But that's how it is. Usually use signals or event bus for this stuff. Signals maybe. Is event bus a thing in Godot, or is it? Oh. What is event bus? Yeah, I'm probably not going to use that. That seems complicated. Signal's not a bad idea though. But with signals I get worried about desynchronization. You take a singleton and put all signals in there so you can access them from anywhere. Right. I guess that's not such a bad idea. But for organization purposes, I'll leave, I mean, having all of my signals in one. I do have a lot of singletons, and some of them have signals. But okay, I guess I learned something, because I was wondering what that term means. Anyway, I can set the text here, because the text, oh, this should be super simple. It's just going to be this, like that. So if I'm correct, this should already be... it doesn't work though. Well, that's weird. Why not? Doesn't say. Okay, well this part works. You can definitely tell. But then it's the scrolling, perhaps that doesn't work. So let me do... Scrolling happens or no? Ooh, that's interesting. Is my scroll wheel broken? What's going on? I don't think it is. No, my scroll wheel works fine. It's just that it only works sometimes. That's a bit weird. Why? Is it to do with my... I mean, look, my scroll wheel is working here. Wheel up, and it's not running. It's not running double. It's just not running sometimes. Do I have any early returns? I don't think so. That's weird. I could do this. Maybe it's an issue with that. This doesn't seem to make any difference at all. If I just go crazy on the scroll wheel, it does work eventually. Huh. Oh, you did do multiplayer. That's impressive, to be honest. I need to... Well, I say I need to. I do eventually want to figure out multiplayer too. But yeah, you should definitely make that into a full project. If you possibly can. I mean, it would be kind of fun. You can have like cooperative PvE, whatever. Yeah, that's really weird. What's going on? There must be something I'm missing. Maybe wheel up should be exactly the same. Should be exactly the same. I think, yeah, it is exact. It is. Doesn't make any sense. That's a bit strange. Okay. I'll do Q and E, and perhaps I'll put. I have no choice really. I'll put the scroll wheel stuff in input event. So here's input event mouse button if event dot what here? Hold on. What are the button index? Button list? Button wheel up, button wheel down. If event dot index is equal to button wheel up. Just do that. Then the same thing if it's down like that. So that should work because it cannot possibly avoid the input function. No, there we go, that works. Lovely. Okay, great. And it works with Q and E as well. Although at the moment they both do the same thing because there's only 2 weapons. Great. So that part kind of works. There's not very much movement to it though. Oh, you shared the code. That's kind of good actually. That is kind of good. I need to kind of wrap my head around how it works for my own ability to put it in a game. A prototype PvP on itch, but PvE sounds better, so the player can do stuff even by themselves. Yeah, I would say so. And also, there's not that many co-op. I feel like there's maybe I'm wrong, but there seems like there's not as many cooperative games as there could be. There's a lot of PvP, but the PvE is underrated in my opinion. Maybe that's true. I actually don't know. Okay, well I have this, so now I should probably do a bit about the movement of this, because I don't want it to just be hanging out here all the time. I want it to kind of come in and then go out. Maybe. The text is a bit rough, but I guess that's just how it is. Here we go. So utility, and then the combat mode. And maybe I'll put a bit of an effect on the player as well, to kind of signify that the weapon has been changed. That's an idea. PvP is kind of dying, and PvE is a neat addition to a game that doesn't need it. Yeah, I think because you need a lot of players to do a good PvP, and also PvP is a bit stressful. I like PvE because, yeah, it's optional. At best, you're just kind of being helpful to the other players. You're not trying to destroy them. Okay. So this seems like a good idea. Maybe you can add a sound effect to the player changing weapon. Yeah, that's true as well. I have quite a bad habit of leaving the sound effects until the very end, usually a bit too far, but yeah, that's a good idea actually. I do forget about sound effects. Okay, so maybe I could do a tween. I mean, why not do a tween? I could also use an animation player, but they tend to be a bit... No, actually an animation player might be what I'm looking for here. Because it doesn't really need to be flexible, but I don't want it to... I don't know, maybe... It's tricky. Probably an animation player would be the best way to do it. Because it's just an animation that's got to play. It really doesn't have to do anything else. So, what's the position here? Okay. So it'll kind of start here. Then come up. And that's going to be cubic, by the way. And then it'll return. Something like this. Well, that's way too fast, but you get the idea. And then maybe it'll do a bit of this. Actually, what the hell does that even look like? Strange, but fine. I guess that one's also seen unique node because we're just doing this now. I think this should work. Let's try it. Right, so that's something. It doesn't. I would like it to stop and then play. So I could do this the easy way and just ask it to stop. No matter what it's doing, just stop and then play that animation. That's kind of what I want, I think. It is a bit sharp. And it doesn't last for very long. It goes away very quickly. It's very, very short-lived. But maybe that's okay, because I'm looking at it, but maybe, you know, when you're actually using this stuff, it'll be obvious when you have something. I'll extend it a little bit. Put it out like this. That looks okay. That's a happy middle ground, and I can tweak it, which is one of the things I was thinking of when I said animation player, is that I do have a bit of freedom if I want to change parameters of the animation. Okay. So it does work. This part does work. The selector kind of works. It looks a bit... it looks good enough for now. if I need to make any further changes, that will be possible. This is good enough for now. Okay. So, the next logical thing that I need to do is the functionality for these weapons. I have this one, obviously. Easy stuff. This one I do not have yet. And it's important to be able to pick stuff up. So I think what I'm gonna do is get a second cup of coffee, and then I will get to work on the magnet, and I kind of have some idea what that's gonna look like. I basically already did make one of those in one of the other mini games, probably one that's going to get thrown out for a while, but it's alright. I'll try take some of that visual style and I'll just add it to this game, or to this part of the game, and then it'll be the functionality which is going to be the tricky part. I don't know what the hell that guy's doing, but it doesn't matter. Something to do, anyway. I can figure it out. But yeah, I'm gonna go make a second cup of coffee, so I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back, and I have more coffee. That will hopefully help my throat, because I have a bit of a cold today. Well, not really a cold, but it is essentially allergy season, and that's not so great. Anyway, where was I? I was on the track to figuring out this magnet weapon, I think. Which doesn't sound that much fun. I do gotta do it. It would be good to have anyway, regardless of whether I carry this forward into the final iteration of the game. It would be good to have. So, in fact, I will now change the default weapon to magnet. And when the player clicks, shoot bullet, yeah. So this is it's gonna do a bit of I think for the magnet projectile, match case would be fine. I think. Probably. And this is gonna be one of those where I'm just figuring it out. So we're gonna do something like match weapon, and we're gonna say magnet is that, and then plasma is that. So if I am correct, this should now do nothing unless the plasma is selected, which is indeed the case. That's quite good. I gotta think about what the actual behavior of this is. What else? Because the player is gonna need to hold something, an item, essentially, and then they're going to need to drop or destroy that item. I've only done a tiny bit. I don't want to give up yet, but thinking what I have to do. Perhaps the best thing is for me to go away and then come back to this. Go on for about an hour. I could go to the shop before it closes, you know, stuff like that. Okay, you know what? I will get this magnet thing done. Or will I? I'll figure out what else I have to do, but I am gonna do it later. Because I possibly need to go to the shop. I'll figure it out. Anyone who has been with me for this journey, thank you very much, and I'll be back.